Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Thursday, April 9th, 2015, around 6:04 in the morning, Belleville, Massachusetts. A little bit damp today. There's some pockets of freezing drizzle, freezing rain, and snow, so be careful. Highs are going to be close to 40. Some news to report. The Boston Celtics beat the Detroit Pistons by the score of 113-103. The Celtics are now tied for 7th place in the Eastern Conference. And there's a possibility they could face the Cavaliers in the first round, which clinched the number 2 seed in the East, the Central Division title. Also, the Washington Capitals beat the Boston Bruins by a score of 3-0. Bruins did not score one goal against the Capitals this year. From Brandon Holbet, could be the Vezina Trophy candidate. And the Bruins need to win games. They could finish 99 points and not make the playoffs. And the Philadelphia Phillies beat the Boston Red Sox by a score of 4-2. And that's about it on that. My first video subject of the day is about the baseball park boom in the 1990s through the 2000s. Over 20 Major League Baseball parks were built between 1991 and 2010, and many of these were baseball-only stadiums that had the old-school look, the retro look of baseball parks in the past, which had the modern amenities of club seating, luxury boxes, and stuff. And many of these ballparks were built in the downtown areas of these cities, which revitalized these cities. Back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, many Major League Baseball parks were built, but they were cookie-cutter stadiums shared by a Major League Baseball team and an NFL team. A lot of them built in the 60s and 70s were the Astrodome in Houston, the Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the Metrodome in Minneapolis, and Sky Dome in Toronto. And many of these ballparks became antiquated immediately. The boom of the baseball ballparks for Major League teams started in 1991 when the Chicago White Sox moved from Old Comiskey Park to New Comiskey Park, which was kind of a replica of the Old Comiskey Park, and it became U.S. Cellular Field. It was about 43,000. It was, kind of an old school field of the ballpark of the Comiskey Park, and it had luxury boxes. But the next year, the Baltimore Orioles moved from Memorial Stadium to Oriole Park and Camden Yards in downtown Baltimore, Maryland. This was a great ballpark. It's the old school field, about 50,000, right on next to the warehouse, and Beirut's father once owned a saloon, a bar right on the property where Camden Yards is. It's been around 23 years, and it was the best baseball park voted for many years. It revitalized the Orioles as a top team in the American League. 2 years later, in 1994, 2 more Major League Baseball parks opened up. The Cleveland Indians moved from Municipal Park right on Lake Erie in Cleveland to a new downtown stadium called Jacobs Field, which is now Progressive Field. Seats about 43,000. Great area to put in downtown Cleveland. Revitalized the area next to the Quickie Loans Arena for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 43,000, but in recent years they had to make renovations and back down to 38,000 because fans don't come to the games. And also the ballpark in Arlington for the Texas Rangers was built, which is another great field with old school field with the modern amenities of a new stadium with the luxury boxes and stuff like that. 1995, the Colorado Rockies moved from Mile High Stadium, which is a football field, which was a temporary stadium for them, into a cold field with built. Seats 50,000. It's like a mile high. It's a great ballpark with the old school feel of the retro style, plus, the modern amenities. All of these stadiums need modern amenities with luxury boxes, private seat licensing, and more. And if the Rockies were a good team and the fans come to these stadiums and stuff like that. 1997, the Atlanta Braves moved from the launching pad in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, which was a multi-purpose stadium, which they shared with the Atlanta Falcons for years, and they moved to Turner Field, which was converted from the Olympic Stadium for the 1996 Olympics that Atlanta hosted. And Braves Field, it was Turner Field. It was a decent field, but the Braves didn't really like playing there. In 2017, they're moving to Cobb County, Georgia, to SunTrust Stadium for $41,000 and stuff with luxury boxes. But I don't really like that move because baseball should be played in downtown areas, not in the suburbs. 1998, the expansion. Arizona Diamondbacks started their inaugural season opening up Bank One Ballpark, which was a retractable roof and stuff, and it has a swimming pool in it. Now it's Chase Field. It's a great ballpark. Also, the Tampa Bay Rays started to play, and they play in Tropicana Field, but that's a hideous stadium. It's just indoor stadium, and the Braves are trying to get a new ballpark. 1999, another ballpark opened up. Continuing on the ballpark boom, Seattle Mariners moved from the Kingdome, a dome stadium, which was, artificial turf and shared by the Seattle Seahawks, to their own baseball-only stadium, Safeco Field, which was an awesome stadium, retractable roof because it rains a lot in Seattle. Another great ballpark, which is near downtown Seattle. 2000, 3 more baseball only stadiums opened. First one was Detroit Comerica Park. The Tigers moved from legendary Tiger Stadium to Comerica Park, which they once had a Ferris wheel. It's a very, very nice ballpark. It has the nice amenities, about seats 40,000, an old school charm to it. Right by downtown Detroit, revitalized the area next to Ford Field and stuff. Also 2000, the San Francisco Giants moved from Candlestick Park, which was on the outskirts of San Francisco, to a new ballpark right on San Francisco Bay and stuff, which was called PNC Park. AT&T Park. Originally it was Pacific Bell Park. Originally they wanted to call it the Polo Grounds. A lot of home runs were hit into McCoby Cove, the area with the water. San Francisco Giants won 3 World Series, which was pretty good. That revitalized this franchise and stuff. And another stadium open was the Enron Field, which is Minuteman Ballpark, which the Houston Astros opened. They moved from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, and it's a retractable roof, and there's a train on one of the sides of it, which is pretty good. Another old school feel to a modern ballpark. 2001, 2 more Major League Baseball stadiums opened. The Pittsburgh Pirates moved from Three River Stadium to a ballpark near downtown Pittsburgh, right on one of the river, the Allegheny River. It was called PNC Ballpark. It only seats 38,000, but it's a great ballpark, which I hear a lot of old school feel with the modern amenities, with the luxury boxes, private seating and license. The Pirates were in the middle of losing 20 state seasons, but that place is packed now because the Pirates have a great team. And also in 2001, the Milwaukee Brewers moved from County Stadium to Miller Park, which is another kind of an old school baseball park replica of a modern Ebbets Field, and they have a retractable roof, and every time the Brewers hit a home run, Bernie Brewer slides down a water slide, which is pretty amazing. 2003, another great ballpark opened. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. The Reds moved from Riverfront Stadium, Sidney Field, to Great American Ballpark, which overlooks downtown Cincinnati. It's a great ballpark, which is going to host the 2015 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. 2004, two more only baseball parks opened. One in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Phillies moved from Veterans Stadium, which was, they had to share it with the Eagles for many years, and then they moved to Citizens Bank Ballpark near downtown Philadelphia. A great ballpark, seats 45,000. Phillies were very competitive for the first few years it was open, with winning division titles and being in World Series, and that's a great revitalized Philadelphia Phillies for a time. And also the San Diego Padres moved from Jack Matthews Stadium or Qualcomm Stadium, which they shared with the San Diego Chargers, to a new downtown facility in San Diego called Petco Park, which is an amazing stadium and stuff. Even though it's a pitcher's park, and they moved the fences in many times, so there could be more home runs, because San Diego Padres don't hit home runs and stuff. And the Padres have had not too good of success, but it's a great ballpark and stuff. 2006, the St. Louis Cardinals moved from old Busch Stadium, which was kind of a cookie cutter stadium they shared with many years with the NFL, St. Louis Cardinals, and then the St. Louis Rams, to a baseball only ballpark, the new Busch Stadium, which is awesome and stuff. The St. Louis Cardinals won the World Series when the new Busch Stadium opened, which was awesome. 2009, two more baseball stadiums opened. One, the New York Mets moved from Shea Stadium to Citi Field, which is another great ballpark, kind of the old school feel of elements of Polo Grounds and Ebbets Field, and the inside of it is pretty amazing. They call it the Jack B. Robinson Rotunda and stuff, and it's a great feel to Citi Field for the Mets. And then the new Yankee Stadium for the New York Yankees, they moved next door to the front from the renovated Yankee Stadium, the old one, to the new one, which has the same charm and feel of the Yankee Stadium. Yankees won the World Series in 2009 and stuff like that. And in 2010, the last of these retro style ballparks and stuff like that, the Minnesota Twins moved from the Metrodome to Target Field, which is an awesome stadium right in downtown Indianapolis. Outside stadium, very, very surprised that the Twins not built a retractable roof, because it gets cold in Minnesota in April with a lot of snow and stuff. Could be in September. And all of these stadiums are pretty awesome. And then now, a few years ago, 2012, the Florida Marlins moved from Sun Life Stadium in Miami, which they shared with the Miami Dolphins. It wasn't a baseball stadium. It was a football stadium. They converted a baseball stadium, which was awful, to the Marlins ballpark, and it got renamed the Miami Marlins. About 35,000 seats. They have an aquarium in there, and this is the first ballpark they're calling it a contemporary ballpark, which other stadiums from the previous generation have. They say after Atlanta's Sun Trust Stadium, they could be 25 to 30 years until a new Major League Baseball park is open. Teams that do not have a new ballpark are and also I forgot 2008, the Washington Nationals, who played in Montreal, moved from played 3 years in the RFK Stadium. Then they moved to Nationals Ballpark, which is a great ballpark and stuff. The Washington Nationals used to be the Montreal Expos. The teams that did not experience the baseball park boom are the Boston Red Sox. That they still play at Fenway Park. They renovated that many times. The Chicago Cubs Wrigley Field. The Los Angeles Dodgers, they have been in Dodger Stadium since 1962. The the Kansas City Royals Kauffman Stadium, but that's been renovated many times. That's been open since 1973. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, they played in Anaheim Stadium since 1966, but they've been converted many times over. And Tampa Bay, Oakland A's, they've been playing in the Oakland Coliseum since 1968, but that's an awful ballpark, and they're going to be stuck there for at least 10 more years because Major League Baseball don't want to move them, and it's awful. The stadium's falling apart, the plumbing, the bathrooms are awful, and Tampa Bay Rays and stuff like that. These baseball park booms in the 90s, 2000s were awesome and bring millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue to these baseball teams and stuff, and raise the value of these baseball teams very, very good and stuff. Great food there, great concession stuff, and it's so awesome because baseball received a great renaissance in the 1990s and 2000s when these ballparks were open, and you get the old school feel to go to many of these ballparks when he's back in the old days when baseball was like played in smaller ballparks, but these were like updated it to have more seating, but felt like the old school ballparks. They were better than the cookie cutter stadiums in the 60s and 70s and 80s, which watching baseball games and football's only stadiums were tough and stuff because it kind of wrecked the field and stuff, and you didn't get the charm of it. And I wish one of these days Boston would get a new Fenway Park with the modern amenities with luxury boxes and stuff. Could keep the Green Monster and stuff, but make 40,000 and stuff. But there's not too much room to put in Boston. Well, that's about it in these virtual ballparks. I'll be back later on with 2 more video blogs. First video blog will be about the professional regional territory, CWA, USWA, that was based out of Memphis, owned by Jerry Jarrett for many years, and Jerry the King Lala. And third and final video blog of the night, personality profile, which will be about Fran Tarkenton, quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback, spent most of his career with the Minnesota Vikings. Have a good day, Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. Bye.